Teachers, if there are no objections, let's begin the practical session. As you have just seen in the theoretical part, after we provide the information, it is essential that we illustrate it for our students by drawing it out. Now, here on the board, regardless of the font size, whether it's 10, 14, or 20, we need to draw it to scale. What I mean is, if the height is 20, we should make it 2 millimeters. If the height is 10, then we should make it 1 millimeter. And it's better to give students a font size of 20, not 10, or something in the tens, so that they don't have a hard time. Because an 8th grader might be reluctant to draw small lines. That's why let's give them a font size of 20 and teach them the font with a 75-degree slant. It's true, in schools, students are taught to draw in their notebooks. Maybe this is so that even students who aren't very skilled at drawing can still draw in their notebooks. But in most cases, it's necessary to have them draw grids on format paper and work on that. Now, we'll show you how to draw this. All right, now let's say that after we have successfully divided it into 10 equal parts, what exactly do we need to do next with this 75-degree angle when we are using a standard protractor? First, we need to carefully measure it. Now, go ahead and place the protractor exactly at the required 0 point. From there, you should measure out 75 degrees very precisely, and then proceed to draw the line at that specific 75-degree angle to complete the shape. As you can clearly see, this specific angle right here measures exactly 75 degrees. Now, in order to properly construct each of the subsequent squares in this sequence, we are going to carefully set all of our measurements in precisely the same way as we did for the very first one to ensure total consistency throughout the entire diagram. We will make sure this distance here is kept the same throughout. Of course, this takes a little time. Our students need to get used to this because you know very well that the subject of technical drawing is considered an exact science. So what needs to be done? It needs to be followed precisely. There you go. Let's say, for now, this will be enough for 1 or 2 letters. All right, you have already taught how to sharpen pencils with the T-square. It is connected with a thin line. Let's say our grid continues in this way. Then if we start the alphabet with the letter A, we begin with the capital letter first. Now, according to that table, the alphabet will consist of 7 squares. When you calculate it previously, it will also be exactly equal to 7. In the case of the 20 unit one, that is, it will be equal to 14 millimeters. And for the 10 unit one, it will be equal to 7 millimeters. If there are 7 squares, then for the letter A, the bottom base is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The second base. The middle of the letter A is considered to be after 2 or 3 squares, right in the center. And you explained that these lines should be connected using a ruler, not by hand, but with a ruler. This is explained to the student. We haven't colored it yet. We haven't colored it with a pencil yet. There is a line in the letter A. You all know this. After you have marked it, compare a row to check if it is correct or not, and only then do you allow them to start coloring. Then before coloring, let's write this small letter A, the lowercase cursive letter. For that, in both the table and the standard, what is given as the spacing between each letter according to the table? It is given as 2Ds. In our case, 2Ds will be equal to 2 squares. If we drew 1 millimeter for every 10 millimeters, it would be 2 millimeters. If we had 20 and drew 2 millimeters for every 20, the square would be 4 millimeters. So what does it show here about the importance of the square? It is evident. All right, since the square is not enough for us now, we will draw the square again. Now our square is ready. Here, you once again emphasize and show the students that the beauty and correctness of our letters depend primarily on the square. All right, if our letter A, our cursive letter, is always equal to 20, then the next one, when it goes back, will be equal to 14 font size. If our 14-point font is divided by 2, and we say 6 squares, then our 14-point font will be exactly equal to this. 7 2s make 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our letter A will be 5 squares. After you have drawn the contours of the letter A, you pay attention to its structure. By structure, I mean that each part has its own shape. We construct the letter A according to its shape. What does that mean? This part of the letter A is made in an arc shape. When it is made in an arc shape, it is not done arbitrarily. That is, 2 squares are taken from the outside. In other words, this square and that square are made by hand. By hand. It is not done with a ruler or a compass. And you take 1 square from the inside like this. And from here, the return boundary is also 2 squares, just like that. You will do it fully, and you also take 1 from the inside. In this way, the finished part of the letter A is the rounded lam. But we often consider the A part to have a tail, so let's call it a tail or something else. We also draw this part. I do it like this. In this way, the letter A is formed. This part will be rounded from the inside. Consequently, if we truly want to make these lines significantly darker, so as to ensure that they are perfectly visible, then we should carefully draw over them as many times as we possibly can, while using a straight ruler. Your hand will get used to this. The child will learn to draw beautifully and without trembling. So, according to the official state educational standards, this is exactly how the lowercase letter A is supposed to be written. So, considering that, what can actually be done with the specific version found in that old book? You can compare it. Now, we have some letters, they end up being the same height as the capital letter. Which ones are they? For example, there is the letter B and there is the letter D, right? Then you try turning the letter A into that letter D. Here, let's try turning it. There you go. We erase the difficulties. That's it. The rest of it stays as it is, meaning the capital letter. So starting from here, coming from this point, then going back 2 squares. There you go. This one here. There you go. Even though this is a cursive letter, what is happening? It remains level with the capital letter and does not go beyond it. It also doesn't drop below. That's why if we color the letter A nicely as well, it will definitely add quality by coloring it in this way. But it can't be done in one go, because the topic of fonts is really a meticulous task, and since it is such detailed work, it is assigned as homework. After students do their best to draw it at home, their shortcomings are pointed out and taught in an encouraging manner. And with this, the child is required not to deviate from those standards. I believe that you too can explain this to your children just as beautifully or even better. Don't get tired of teaching, stay healthy and take care.